All right, go ahead.
A tiny little bird was very exuberant and happy, and winter started coming. It should have gone south, but it was so happy it forgot about it and little late. Then it tried to fly, but because of the cold, its wings froze and it fell down. A cow was passing that way and it dropped a heap of dung and it fell right on the bird. So inside this dung, the warmth of the dung, and it felt happy and warm, tick, 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 it started tweeting. It couldn't get up, but it was happy inside the dung. A cat was going by, heard this bird tweaking, it opened up the dung and ate up the bird. The moral of the story is, not everybody who heaps dung on you is your enemy. Not everybody who gets you out of shit is your friend. And above all, when you're in a heap of shit, keep your mouth shut.
Keep your fucking mouth shut is the moral of the goddamn story.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, what do we call them again?
The Primates.
The Primates. Yes, how's everybody doing today? It's episode 3 of the Prime podcast, right? 3?
Yeah, number 3.
It almost didn't happen.
Yeah.
They tried to take us out the game.
They tried to, all of this Love Day stuff and everything else like that. How was your Love Day?
I went to my mother-in-law's house.
Okay.
With my wife, my son, my daughter,
right,
my brother-in-law, his wife, his 2 children,
right,
and my mother-in-law obviously was there,
right,
and we, her brother is like a fucking fantastic cook,
right,
and he chefed up quite a meal. What the hell is that? Is that your telef? That's very unprofessional. we have to run through a list of things for Fats. And then he'll call it disrespecting him. So yeah, no. So we went over there. We ate like we had 77 assholes, and drank, and we're just merry, you know.
But let me ask you a question. Didn't you on episode 2? I would invite everyone to re-watch episode 2. Didn't you vent about being a fat, disgusting, slobbing?
Yes, Yeah, I mean, listen. Who the fuck am I kidding? What do you mean? Do you think that's going to change overnight? Every day. I don't know if you do this.
Right.
But every day I'm like, tomorrow I'm going to start over. So much so I wrote a song about it 3 years ago called Tomorrow Never Comes.
Right.
And it's all about this topic of how I'm going to do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's the first day of the rest of my life with the gym, with the diet.
You were very convincing, though, last week.
I mean, what? I never said that I was going to do anything. I just told you I was a big fat fuck. That's all I said.
I'm just saying I believed you. I believe myself and the Primates believed you.
That I was a big fat fuck, obviously. I'm pretty convincing in that regard. I mean,
no, but we thought that you were going to turn a new leaf this week.
Nobody thought that. I don't think anybody thinks that I have the capability of doing that. Like, you're going to put like a whole bunch of delicious food in front of me. I'm going to eat it 100% of the time.
What was on the menu?
He made penne alla vodka sauce.
Okay.
Like from scratch, like with, he made it. And these raviolis that they were fresh, but they were heart-shaped. I don't give a fuck what shape they are. I'm still going to eat a whole giant fucking bowl of them. But then he fried up chicken cutlets and made chicken cutlet parmesan with the vodka sauce, which is a real treat in my book. I like that because it's not just the red sauce. It's got that extra, creaminess to it that a fat guy loves.
Right.
And then there was my wife. She went to Cold Stones. You know what that is?
Yes.
She went there and got these Cold Stone ice cream cupcakes.
Okay.
And her brother also brought these fucking little fancy designer cupcakes. Her mother had some cake. Dude, I consumed about 8,000 calories in one sitting that night.
So now
it's terrible.
So after this amazing meal, did you feel like guilty at all?
No, because I eat like that every fucking day. This is I'm gonna be straight up. This is when this happened. When I first started working.
Yes.
A real job where I met you.
Right.
I went like. The only thing that I could compare this feeling to from when I started getting in paychecks and when I started eating the way I eat now
right.
is Thanksgiving. Because that's the only other time in my life where I had ever felt that feeling of being so fucking stuffed to the fucking point where you can't breathe.
Right.
To then that was an everyday occurrence for us.
So you feel you correlate getting a good job with it being Thanksgiving every day.
Yeah. I gained fucking 50 pounds when I started working there.
Okay.
That's what happened because I didn't have money to be like tricking off on food like that. Before I made a little bit of cash, but you could live in hand to mouth like.
So basically, what you're saying is, if to the ladies out there, a fat guy makes money.
Obvious, they know that though. You don't gotta tell them that. But then, so that was like, I would have nights like Thanksgiving or a night like where I'd go out with family and eat like a guy had 17 assholes. But if I wanted it to be that now, it would be every day Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And that's a problem.
Did you bring any food home?
I didn't, on purpose, I didn't bring any food home. Then Sunday, because we went there on the Friday night.
Right.
Then Sunday, my wife was like, I'm going to go to my mother's house and pick up all the leftovers because she's, her mother lives by herself.
Right.
Her mother's like, get this food out of my fucking house. It's just going to go bad. So she went over there, picked up all the leftovers of the penne, the vodka sauce, the chicken, even the dessert, and she cooked it again on Sunday.
So, how much did you eat on Sunday?
The same thing.
Same amount?
Basically, yeah. Pretty much. Actually, not the same amount. I only had one cutlet on Sunday. On the Friday, I ate everything.
Well, see, look, that's the path to redemption right there.
Just cutting back a little bit?
Yes, you cut back. Look, discipline. That's all I'm saying, discipline. The path to redemption. Don't have 3 cutlets. Just have 1.
I only had 2 the Friday. I can't remember what the fuck I did on a Saturday. I think we just sat here, me and her. I ordered food or some shit. We definitely didn't go out to dinner. That's for sure.
Was it Chinese?
Nah.
We still boycotting Chinese?
Yo, we were fucking today. We were driving around trying to figure out what to get to eat for dinner, and we drove past the Chinese food, and it was just desolate. There was nobody there. Wow. And I said to Danielle, I was like, yo, let's just get some Chinese food. We don't got to eat it. We could throw it out. But I don't want to see these motherfuckers suffer like this. It hurts me.
Yes, because they've been there for us for how many years?
They were so good to me for so long. And now I looked in there, and they like we was on Hempstead Turnpike, and you just see the lady like sitting at the counter. Like on a night like tonight, it was like dinner time, the hustle and bustle. There'd be 15 motherfuckers in there waiting. There was nobody.
Right.
I didn't even think they had the woks on, bro. She was just sitting at the counter like.
What's your dish?
I prefer sesame chicken or General Tso's. It depends where I'm going. Like if I go to Chinatown, it's all different. Because we go to Wo Hop. You ever been to Wo Hop?
No, I have not.
You fucking up. At Wo Hop, I like the salted pork shoulder. I like the fried dumplings.
All of the Jewish and Muslim listeners.
I'm not Jewish or Muslim, so
I'm just saying,
much respect to y'all motherfuckers. But
you're just like you just cut a whole bunch of our listeners out. They just tuned us out because
I'm not telling them they have to eat it.
You're like a swine eater,
Yo, I won't eat that anywhere else but there for some reason. And I don't want to upset people, but I've been there with Muslims who ate it with me, and I didn't influence them to do it. Yo, wow. I work with a Muslim kid. He's a kid. He's younger than me. Okay. I watched him eat a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Wow.
And I'm like, you can't do that, right?
Was that not turkey bacon?
Nah, B. Bacon. And I'm like, ain't that haram or whatever they call it? Yeah. And he's like, yeah, sometimes he's young. He's a kid.
You gotta roll your R a little bit more when you say haram.
I'm not Muslim. I don't know how. I'm sorry. Much respect to everybody that is, but the fact that I even know that this motherfucker eating that shit is haram.
There you go. That's much better.
You know what I'm saying? But that's why it's like, who you kidding? It's delicious.
Okay. So when you're at Wo Hop, you like the salted pork shoulder.
Salted pork shoulder.
Uh-huh.
They make a shrimp dish that has green peas in it.
Yeah.
Like
ixnay on the shrimp, seafood allergies.
So you can't eat shit. They do have exquisite General Tso's beef.
Okay.
You ever have beef?
Never had General Tso's beef. Never tried that.
They could make it with the General Tso's toast, or you could just get crispy beef.
Okay.
That is banging. The crispy beef, and they'll put a little sesames on that too.
Okay.
Yep, banging. The fried rice at Wo Hop, it's a different style of fried rice.
So here's the other thing. How much money
Yes.
could they offer you?
What? Nah, not doing it.
I'm just saying. You didn't let me finish.
I know, but I'm not doing it.
You didn't let me finish.
All right, go ahead.
How much money could they offer you right now to go and have a smorgasbord of your favorite dishes in the best restaurant in Wuhan?
Wuhan? Fuck out of here, B. Are you crazy? I'm not doing that at all.
But why not?
Because I don't want to fucking die, B.
I'm just saying they're
about?
offering you a plethora of money. You could go get like treatment afterwards.
Yo, we need to figure out your microphone, bro. We need to. Cause I'm over here I'm like trying to mitigate this as it's happening.
You have to exercise your skills.
You get very excited. I'm not doing it. I'm not fucking going like from what first of all, I don't know what to believe about what the fuck is happening over there right now.
Okay.
Because you got fucking conspiracy theorists on Facebook like there's 500 million dead in Wuhan, China. They put up walls. They're locking people in buildings and fucking execution style killing them like crazy shit. Like, what do you believe?
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is, sir,
right?
They come with a suitcase full of money. Your price.
What the fuck am I gonna do with the money if I'm dead?
Yeah, but you feel like you're gonna die in 10 minutes?
You think it's worth it just to know I had that money?
Like I said, you could seek treatment. You have enough money to seek treatment.
I know.
Hopefully the treatment would free you of your affliction.
It's not the treatment I'm worried about. It's the mistreatment of my body for the last fucking 38 years that I don't think I could survive the motherfucking flu of the coronavirus, Wuhan flu, whatever the fuck.
So you wouldn't roll the dice with the salted
Nope.
pork shoulder.
They don't serve that there. First of all,
how do you know that?
Because it's Americanized Chinese food. I've had this conversation with the motherfuckers at Wo Hop.
Right.
You never been to a Chinese food restaurant, you sit down, and there's a table of them eating, and you look at the shit they're eating?
Right.
They ain't eating what you're eating.
Absolutely not.
They're not eating it. They're eating some other shit.
Absolutely not.
So,
do you think that you could become authentic and try what they eat?
I did. I went to China, and I ate what they eat, and some of it is, like, they do a lot of, like vegetables, but like steamed shit. Like, I'm not into steamed vegetables.
Why not?
I'm not, it's very flavorless to me. Unless you really doctor them up nice.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of steamed vegetables. But like some of the, like they eat a lot of dumplings too, like the soup dumplings.
Right.
That was a lot of that on the menu over there. Like dim sum. You know what dim sum is?
Yes.
Shit like that they serve in dim sum.
You know, speaking of dim sum, did you hear about de Blasio?
What about?
He was having dim sum, and he was trying to use some chopsticks.
Yeah.
And it went horribly wrong. He was like trying to load the chopsticks with a fork.
Nah.
He's dropping the dim sum.
They filmed the whole joint or what? They have him dropping
this is the funnier part about this guy. You're like the mayor of New York City. And you've already committed an atrocity by sitting down to a slice of pizza with a knife and a fork.
I mean, listen, bro.
Have you ever, don't even finish before you tell me, have you ever eaten a slice of pizza with a knife and a fork?
Negative.
Okay.
No.
So now you're supposed to be the mayor of this great city, right?
Yeah.
And you're eating pizza with a knife and a fork.
Maybe it was hot. Maybe he's,
So, okay. So now that's strike one. Now, Chinatown.
Yeah.
The Chinese population in New York City is very high, right?
For now, yeah.
No, I'm just saying. we there's multiple Chinatowns in New York City. You know what I'm saying? Multiple Chinese
in every
dominated dominated areas. Multiple. Now, that means that Chinese food and culture is definitely prevalent in the city.
I get it. He should know his way around a chopstick.
So you should know your way around a set of chopsticks.
I mean, listen, bro. I don't.
Especially if you're the representative of said great city.
You should. The pizza shit is inexcusable. The chopstick shit, you shouldn't have done that. You should have just started with a fork and stayed with a fork.
Yeah.
You don't. Who you kidding, bro?
Yeah.
If you ain't got chopstick skills, you ain't got them.
Yes.
I've been eating Chinese food a long time. I'm finally able to sort of eat with chopsticks.
Right.
But I'm just fat and hungry. I don't need them. Give me the fork, bro.
Yeah,
Boom.
but you can find your way around. You could
Yeah,
probably
I could.
You could probably front with the first two pieces of dim sum.
I could eat a full meal. I prefer.
No,
a
I'm
fork.
talking about before you just started to shovel. You could probably
Yeah.
front and boom boom.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing, but this is too slow.
Yeah, I prefer a fork. I know he shouldn't embarrass himself. You're right.
That's my
He
point.
shouldn't embarrass himself.
That's my
But
point.
like anything, it is what it is. You know, he's a fucking clown. What do you want from the fucking guy?
Well, I'm just saying, I'm the big bad mayor. I'm supposed to know these things.
Was that on the fucking ticket for mayor?
Yeah.
You must be able to use chopsticks.
It should be. That's the point. It
must
should
be proficient in all walks of life on how they eat.
You represent every one
In
of
this
these
great
different cultures.
city.
You represent these different cultures, right? This is the melting pot, right? So you need to
Fuck
be,
outta here. I think he's a clown, but still, get the fuck out of here.
that goes without saying. I think Cuomo thinks that too,
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. Yeah, the food in China is different.
What parts did you go to?
I went to China to fucking the airport in China.
Yeah, but where did you go? What part?
We were in wherever the fuck that is. I don't remember the name. That's fucking.
Oh, you just laid over there.
Yeah, but then we went to Thailand and we went all over Thailand. We went to
right.
Bangkok. We went to Laos, which is a different, not Thailand. It's Laos, Myanmar, Phuket.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of them. My wife knows, but.
Did you get some boy love over there while you were there?
Nah, but there's a picture of my wife with a lady boy. Yo, this bitch, I say this with the utmost respect. This dude was walking a real thin line in between getting knocked the fuck out. Like, it was telling Danielle, like, why you with him for? He fat. All this shit. Like, I'm like, I know you're a dude. You're kicking the fucking Willy Bobo to my wife, and you got a dick too. Like, yeah, you fucking... You look like Michael. This bitch looked like Michael Jackson as a Chinese dude.
But you know why I'm blown away? Because
What?
even in Thailand, you were fat.
I was fat. This was fucking 3 years ago.
No, but I'm just saying, to a native of
Dude.
Thailand, you were fat.
I was the biggest guy there in Thailand. These motherfuckers, unless
That was always one of my biggest fears. Seriously, that was always one of my biggest fears when we would leave the country and go abroad to travel to do tours. That was always my biggest fear. I was like, if they lose my luggage, I am finished.
you're fucked. I mean, it depends
I'm
where.
finished.
You'd be finished for real in Thailand.
But that's
Or
my
any
thing.
Asian-
Like, I'm finished.
Yeah, nah, that is different.
And we're talking about, like, at that point, we're talking about like 120 pounds heavier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you were significantly fatter.
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
serious. That's we. I was like, oh boy, if they lose my luggage, I'm done.
Yeah, you would have been fucking.
So yeah, that was.
You'd
always
been
a fear.
walking around in a sheet. You would have had to
Pretty
steal
much.
the fucking
It
hotel
would have been like
shit.
toga time for the rest of the trip.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. Though.
Yeah, it was crazy. But this week was kind of interesting. We had some things go on this week. There was a controversial situation last year in the NFL. This guy, Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns.
I got to look up a picture of this guy because you was telling me.
Yeah, look him up.
Myles Garrett.
Yes.
I don't have my thumb on all these hot topics.
Well, it's kind of like a polarizing thing.
Yeah, I remember the video, of course, but
Because he kind of like tried to smash Mason Rudolph's head through his brains through his skull.
Okay, all right. This picture here says it all.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so go on.
So he was suspended indefinitely for attacking Mason Rudolph with his own helmet, right?
Right.
Well, first they were playing a game. The Browns were beating the Steelers, and it was like garbage time. So he sacked Mason Rudolph and he kind of drove him into the ground. So Mason Rudolph got upset, and Myles Garrett claims that in the scrum, Mason Rudolph called him a racial epithet.
In the scrum.
Yes.
I have a different definition of the word scrum. But okay.
So anyway, he says that he used the N-word against him. So that ensued them having an altercation, and Mason Rudolph attempted to pull Myles Garrett's his helmet off. So Myles Garrett, being a much bigger, larger man than Mason Rudolph, pulled his helmet off in one pull.
Oh my God. I'm trying to pull something up here. Go ahead, keep going.
Right? So anyway, long story short, it ended up being Mason Rudolph went after him again, and he smashed him over the head with a helmet. So the big uproar is that, he could have killed the guy, he could have gave him a lot of permanent damage if he would have hit him with the crown of the helmet and blah, 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 thus and so. And we know that the NFL is trying to clean up its image with the whole concussion protocol and the CTE and all of that stuff. These guys like losing their marbles.
Yeah, with that Aaron Hernandez shit.
Absolutely. So they suspended this guy indefinitely. So this past week, he was reinstated. And he's still sticking to the story of the racial slur being used. So it's been met with a lot of controversial reaction to that.
Did anyone else hear that?
That's the thing. No one else heard it. So it's kind of like a he said thing.
He definitely looks like the kind of guy that would say that word, though, if you look right at him.
Right, but see, this is the thing. If you in the court of public opinion, this guy can be crucified for that. Like, oh yeah, he looks like that.
I mean, listen, this is how I feel about this situation. If he is the kind of guy that says stuff like that when he's mad, it's going to happen again.
Right.
At which point he's guilty for all charges leading up to the event.
Absolutely. I agree.
And he should be dealt with accordingly.
Absolutely.
But if no one heard it, he also looks like a fucking cupcake. So, you dropping that word around a bunch of big black burly motherfuckers in that locker room. You know what I'm saying? Things get ugly, bro.
My whole point was this. I understand, excuse me, in the heat of battle, I understand that, sometimes things get heated and you want to say things because he's talking crap, you're talking crap, and everything else like that.
Those are fighting words.
But here's my thing. When the whole thing jumped off and they were getting physical, it's like, listen, it's not even about being soft or being a sucker or anything else like that. This guy is noticeably larger and stronger than you.
Which one? The white boy's bigger than him?
No, Myles Garrett.
That's
the
what I
black
mean.
guy.
That's
He's
what I mean.
noticeably bigger and stronger than you. Why are you attempting to fight this guy? It's not going to end well for you.
No, not at all. That's why it makes me think that maybe that didn't happen.
Well, and this is the thing that's going on. But the fact of the matter is, he's reinstated now, and some people are cheering, and some people don't agree with it.
Me personally, I don't give a fuck. I'm not like,
that doesn't surprise me.
Nah, I mean, let the motherfucker play, bro. You know what I'm saying? People do dumb shit all the time.
Right.
That shouldn't, in my opinion, no one event, like if he could take it back, I'm sure he would have taken it back if it meant that he was going to lose his fucking career and his livelihood and shit. I'm sure he ain't going to do that anymore.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, let him play. I mean, the other dude, like I said, if he's the kind of guy that is dropping shit like that, it's going to happen again, and he's going to fucking pay for it.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, and now he's going to have that stigma on him, so everybody's going to be looking at him. So,
right. Hey, our former mayor, we're talking about mayors, right?
Right, mayor.
Our former mayor, Mike Bloomberg, just got the A-OK to be on the ballot.
Yeah, I seen a whole bunch of memes about that. How he was going to spend $1 billion to make Hillary president and all this shit.
Yes.
Shit is about to get real interesting.
Well, my man's holding the bag. That's all I'm telling you. He's holding the bag, and again, let's just say hypothetically, and I'm just just touching on this very quickly and we move on. Let's just say this. If you have one billionaire going up against another,
Right.
and we're talking about left wing and right wing, right? That left wing and right wing, just keep in mind, is on the same animal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying. It's like basically, you're basically voting for the same type of guy.
I mean, between Trump and Clinton last time,
Right.
it was honestly the lesser of two evils to have Trump become president.
Absolutely.
So now it's like it's still the lesser of two evils,
Right.
especially when you add the fucking the Bloomberg into the mix shit. Like,
Right. But see, here's the thing: the whole was killing me is the whole backpedaling on everything. And I didn't mean it, and
Come on,
I didn't
man.
understand, and it was
But that's why it's like, what are people's options? You've seen that video of him talking about the stop and frisk.
That's
shit.
what I'm saying. Like the whole backpedaling and apologetic and
But
everything else.
remember, besides all the other funky shit she's accused of, do you remember when she paraded herself up onto 105.1 with hot sauce?
Yes.
And she started shucking and jiving up there?
Yes.
Come on, like, these people play this fucking game
Right.
as if people are fucking dumb.
Right.
Like, I'm just going to get up here and say a bunch of shit that you think is cool, so you'll vote for me.
Absolutely.
And there's a percentage of people that'll go for it.
Right.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy that that's the world we fucking live in.
All right, but it's so funny because it's like, some people look to these politicians as like saviors. Like, just save us from the ills of this other person, of that other party. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, listen, man. It doesn't matter who is going to be in office.
Right.
It's going to be the same fucking story. Look at this story. It's just told over and over and over and over.
Right.
The people who hate the guy, the people who love the guy, the people that don't give a fuck. It's
Right.
just, how bad is it going to get is the question. Like, is it that bad now? Has it been worse? I don't know.
Right.
It's all subjective to who you're asking this question to. Because I could ask this question, how is everything now? To many of the people I know that are, like I said last time, unemployed, unemployable, broke,
Right.
just do nothing with their life, and the world is coming down, falling down around them.
Right.
And then I could ask this question to a guy like you, how much of politics are going to affect the fact that you have to go out and provide for your family?
Absolutely.
Is it making it any harder on your life right now as opposed to 5, even 10 years ago? You
Right.
still have to get up and go through those same motions
Absolutely.
where you need to put one foot in front of the other
Right.
and go out and get that bag and bring home the food and feed your family.
Right.
Is all the rest of the bullshit complicating that to the point where you can't do it?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
That's the only way I've ever seen this shit.
I think also that, again, like I said last week, stuff is just laden with a bunch of emotion. Because a lot of times we want to identify with what's going on. Like, I can pretty much say that if you take a trip around this country to all 50 states, you'll find there is no one solution. There is no one solution because in certain regions, certain things are issues that aren't issues in other regions. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But they're different from the issues here and the issues there. Everybody's got issues somewhere.
Right. So at the end of the day, like, I remember a few years ago, I took a trip to North Carolina. And I was in a very, like, rural part of North Carolina. And at the time, I had when I had my Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Okay. So I went to go fill up gas in this gas station. And I went in and I gave the guy some money and I said I'm going to fill it up. So I filled up the tank and he owed me a couple of dollars for change or whatever. And the guy was like so appreciative of me spending that much money, and I had to realize that something where we come from, where filling up a gas tank is like, is that something to talk about?
Nah.
But I mean, saying in that region, people don't have the money to do that all the time. People don't have the means to fill up like that because, they just don't have the incomes for that. Whereas, we do. So something that's real to them and that they see as an issue is not something that we would see as an issue. So there is no one set way to look at things and everything else like that. And I think that that's where we get mixed up with politics all the time, because these guys have to cater to so many different people. So they will go and shuck and jive and promise, yes, I'm going to be all about that, and we're going to fix this, and we're going to fix that. And people rah-rah, sis, boom, give them their vote, and then they're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But that's also why Trump appeals to a lot of these people, too, with that great notion of make America great again, where, because people think of a better time and shit like that.
But what was ever really a better time?
I don't know, because my life has been consistently this pile of shit forever. This, to me, I not only want to say pile of shit, my life has never been better. And it still has problems. It's still, obviously, the shit I'm going through now, my back and shit. There's been times, and my man Hassel, if you're on Facebook, if you're watching this podcast, comment on this.
Right.
I ate a fucking Fruit Loop out of a goddamn ashtray when I lived in Hempstead above my sister's house once, because I was fucking starving, that hungry. Mm-hmm. I had no job. I had no money. I had no fucking prospects for a job or for money.
Right.
I sold weed, but I ended up smoking it all. I sold pills, but I ended up eating them all.
Right. So
the fact that, I have some semblance of my shit together at this stage in my life, it's never been a better time. So,
think about this. Think about this. We had a discussion last week, you and I, at the diner. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he took me on a date after
he didn't fucking put out either this time.
He took me on a date after our podcast episode last week. But anyway, all joking aside, we had a discussion last week about mental health in guys.
Meh.
When guys go through certain things. And similar to what you're talking about, when you feel like pressure and anxiety to produce, for your family, for yourself, when guys go through traumatic experiences and they have that post-traumatic stress disorder going on. And, a lot of people think that PTSD is just violence, but PTSD could be anything. It's loss and things like that. What we're discussing is the fact that most times men don't know how to reach out for help.
No, nobody really teaches you.
Yeah, because we kind of have this thing of the whole machismo thing,
Yeah. Or because, in my case, because just drugs were good at that time.
Right, but at the end of the day, it's even now when you go, let's say you do go through a loopy event. What's the first thing that they do is when they diagnose you with anything? They try to medicate you with drugs.
In my case personally, where I didn't even know exactly what the fuck was happening until after the fact, really.
Right.
Where I was having all this anxiety shit that I had never really experienced before.
Right.
And it was take some fucking Xanax. That was just the answer.
Right, just calm yourself down.
It wasn't let's get to the bottom of this. You fucking hate your life. You hate your wife. You hate everything about fucking what you're doing right now.
Absolutely.
Because then, once you figure out what is at the root of these problems and this pressure and you get to the bottom of it, you don't need to medicate with drugs and just live in a funk for...
Yeah, but at that time, you were dealing with that. We were around each other.
Yeah.
And what do you say? How do you stop how do you stop the cycle, even when you're standing amongst people that do care about you, but it's like it's hard to reach out?
Well, this is what I'm saying about it is I didn't know that, you see, because of how fucked up I was as a person prior to becoming housebroken.
Right.
I went from every day using fucking drugs and weed and drinking to getting a letter in the mail that said you have to fucking report to for this interview and you're gonna get this job. So everything, and I ain't even gonna front. After I had passed the fucking piss test and got the job, I went back to smoking weed every day again because it didn't matter at that point.
Right.
But I didn't know it was such a problem because to me it was like, oh, like, yeah, my life sucks. I hate what the fuck is happening. I hate my wife. I hate the pressure I'm under to provide for all this shit, and like I can't back out. That's where anxiety comes from. It's like you can't fucking do any better than you're doing, and it's still not enough. And to add on top of that, I was unhappy with my marriage. So I didn't know that it was all that shit. And then when they throw the drugs into the mix, I didn't know I needed help. I thought the drugs were the help. I didn't know it was like I needed to fucking talk about it with men. It was like I felt like a pussy for the way I was feeling to talk about it with men. It was like I'm just doing what I do. I'm just eating.
But that's the thing. Like I discuss with people all the time. We have a war on masculinity right now. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, that term they say, toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Okay. There is a like an unwritten type of thing, like you said. You don't want to feel soft by saying, I need help. I don't know what I'm doing, because we all have a fear of failing. We have a fear of failing. We have a fear of like we're not going to be good enough to succeed at what we're trying to do. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean now. I do.
You didn't know then, though.
Nah.
And
it never crossed my mind.
Right. So the thing is, when your back's against the wall and you don't see a way out, it could cause you to have severe anxiety. Like panic attacks. I've had a panic attack before. A panic attack feels like you're going to die.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
No, I'm serious. I've had a panic attack before. It feels like you're going to die.
Well, if you've never had one before, you think you're dying when it happens.
That's what I'm saying. And a panic attack it mimics the feeling of what the signs of a heart attack. And here's the thing about it is you fall so it's so crazy because you're caught up in a cycle because you feel like you're going to die, which means like you're panicking more, which is making the symptoms worse.
Yeah. That's
it's like a perpetual cycle.
That's
so
a terrible fucking feeling.
And it's a terrible feeling. And it's been, like I said, it comes with like overwhelming loss, overwhelming responsibility, a big change in your life. Because like you said, you went from being free and just doing what you wanted to do to now being tied down to this great responsibility, especially like a job like we have. So, that's a very big lifestyle change, And a lot of times, just the coping mechanisms that we use as far as like weed, liquor, food,
It was all that, but the biggest thing back then was Holly. Like I hated her fucking guts so bad.
Right.
And I was so fucking stuck. A lot of people also don't know, like, you might know, I might have told you this, but I was with Holly and this girl Katie at the same time.
Okay.
And Katie, like, when you imagine like the love of your life, right? Your wife probably, right?
Right.
Katie was the love of my entire life.
Right.
And Holly used to come around and just throw pussy at me all the time. And I was a piece of shit, I'll admit it.
Right.
And I went for it and I got Holly pregnant.
Right.
And then the whole
jackpot.
Right. She knew what she was doing. She wanted to get pregnant and all this shit, whatever.
Okay.
But obviously I put it in there and did it. So, but anyway, so I lost Katie, but we were always talking and all this shit. But then Katie died.
Wow.
Katie died like right off the back of this, in the midst of Holly having a baby and me living with Holly.
Right.
It was right around that fucking time, and it was like I found out about it by Holly telling me. She was like, "Oh, so your girlfriend died?" I'm like, "Huh? What are you talking about?" This is like we're living together. My son is a baby.
Right.
She comes into she's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Nothing." Like I had no clue.
Right.
I'm just in the kitchen preparing some fucking food or some shit, and she comes in with that shit.
Right.
And she's like, "Bullshit. You seen on Facebook, Katie's fucking dead." I'm like, "What?"
Wow.
Like, and that's how I found out that she died. And I had always in the back of my head was like, I'm a fucking, handle my business here for my kid, but I'm definitely trying to get Katie back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So to find out that, I hated Holly as much as I did, miserable with her, and then to find out that Katie died and she didn't tell me until she was in the fucking ground and buried, so I couldn't go to the services.
Right.
She had, at this point, till this day, I want that Facebook, my other Facebook, I don't know how to unblock people, but she blocked family members. She blocked all kinds of people from contacting me on there.
It's crazy.
That I don't know how to, these people couldn't get in touch with me to tell me anything. Nobody knew my number anymore. It was like,
so that was crazy trauma. Just the delivery of that is traumatizing.
This is all the shit that added into that equation with her. It was like, how much worse could shit get? Like,
right.
And then you tell me this, and it's like, I hated everything about her, and then you add that to the equation. Then you add the fact that I'm supporting her kid, keeping up this house. Like, I hate you, and I have to still do all this shit for you, and still wake up in the morning and put my fucking boots on and go to work.
Right.
I'm just supposed to smile in the face of that, not take.
And you did. Pills. That's the funny part.
I did it because for my son. That's why, because I was able to. What was the other option? Like, I would see a lot of people that I came up around that fell into these drug use habits that would let it destroy them and destroy everything in their life. And it was like, if I wasn't dead, I was going to go to work and fucking and handle my business because I had no other fucking excuse. It was like, what the fuck? What would I just say? No, I can't. I'm getting high today.
Right.
Whatever. As long as I could go to work fucked up and they didn't notice, I did.
Hey, listen, that was the whole point. And even at that time, like I said, no one would have known that was a part of your story because you hit it well, and that's the root of anxiety and meltdowns is when you bottle it up so well. It's the root of it.
I was just at that point. That's why I just said now, like even with everything that's going on, like my life has never been better.
Right.
Because it's never, to me as a man. It never got me anywhere by sharing feelings about things. Like, there's only a few people that know the whole extent of my relationship with Katie and shit. And, like, it's only because they were there.
Right.
But, like, knowing what happened and, like, just talking about it, telling anybody at that point, it would have been, the reaction to that story is like, whoa, that's fucking crazy.
Right.
It's like, yes, then I didn't need that reaffirmation of how fucked up it was, like for somebody to tell me, like that's enough to push you over the edge when you're already at the edge. Like if somebody to tell you, wow, that's super fucked up that she did that, when you already hate this fucking person and can't stand to be around them,
right? And
somebody else is telling you that is like, when you think about how foul that is, bro.
It definitely is. It's a situation where it's like you could have lashed out at that in that situation.
That was just it for me. I had enough.
Well, that's my point. Is like, now where is your outlet in that situation? In that situation, is your outlet having a drink?
Nah,
is your outlet going to get high?
The outlet was fucking. You might see. At that point, my young brain was because I was. Shit, that was 10 years ago at least.
Right.
I'm 27, 28 years old.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You have this, like you said, machismo about being a man. You see me, I was out there pulling new Cadillacs off the lot.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you feeling like I did something here. And then, like, when you can't negotiate the fucking feelings that you're having in your own head, when it was simple to me what happened. Also, at this time, a turning point in this whole fucking thing, and I don't even know if you know this. I called out of work one day, and I went to the hospital, I had a fucking I had a really bad toothache. So I went to fucking Einstein over there. I was in the Bronx at the time. So
Yeah,
what was
so-
that? Montefiore?
Yeah.
I went in there.
Where? Right there.
Right by
Eastchester.
Right by the hut over there. You know, by Williamsburg. Yeah, by the McDonald's, by the fucking Pathmark used to be there.
Across from the Calvary.
Right there.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I went in there, and they admitted me into the hospital and told me that I had just went in for my tooth, and these motherfuckers is making a big deal. They ran a bunch of tests on me and told me that they had found some protein in my blood that's only in your blood when you have a heart attack. And
Wow.
I'm like, I didn't have a fucking heart attack. I just have a fucking, my tooth hurts. Like,
Right.
you know, because in the past I had gone to the fucking emergency room. They give you the super Michael Jackson shot, and then they send you on your way with antibiotics, and you live another day. They admitted me into the hospital. I was in the hospital for like a fucking week and a half.
Right.
And turns out I didn't have a heart attack. I had a fucking an infection of the lining of my heart.
Right.
Which it's actually more common than it sounds, and they give you some fucking medicine and it's better.
Right.
But while I was there, they're monitoring me all with the heart things and shit.
Right.
And I'm sitting in the bed, and this was the catalyst for how I left Holly. I'm sitting in the bed. This is right at this is the end. So I'm sitting there, and this old white cardiologist dude comes into the room, and I'm just sitting there minding my own business, and he's out. You know how they have the things hooked up to you in the hallway? He can see the shit.
Yeah, you can watch from.
Yeah. So Holly walks in the room. She's not there but 2 minutes. She's talking to me, starts fucking breaking my balls. My shit must have been going crazy, the monitor that I'm on. And he comes in the room. He's like, hey, Dr. Such and Such, you're his wife. Nice to meet you. Is it okay if I have a word with him? And she's like, yeah. She goes out of the room. And he talks to me, and he's like, what's the problem? I'm like, nah, I'm all right. I've been all right. I'm feeling better. He's like, no, what's the problem? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, your vitals are going crazy. Your blood pressure's higher. Your beats per minute of your heart just skyrocketed. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he just looked at me, and I was like, I don't know what you're saying. He looked at me, and he knows, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I said, yeah. I said, well, what do you want me to do? He said, you know exactly what to do. I got out of that hospital, and I'll never forget this dude. He's probably dead now because he was old as shit then. Probably not. I don't know. He's a cardiologist. Maybe he takes care of himself. But anyway, this happened. The next day, I got on a plane, and me and Balik went to Denver, Cali. We went on some fucking extended run.
The white.
Yeah. So I had made all the plans in the world. Like, I was ready. I fucking, you know, I'm moving money around in the banks. I'm fucking doing all this shit. We come back off that run. She must have got the drop on what I was doing. And at this point, I was sleeping in the living room of our apartment because that's where I didn't want to be next to her. And I get a knock on the living room interior door. It's the fucking cops. Because I had just, when I got back, I missed this part. When I got back, she told me to get me all, we were in, wherever the fuck we were, and she's on the phone fighting with me. She told me that she sold her engagement ring. And fucking,
Wow.
I'm like, you know what? Whatever. Fuck you, bitch. You're trying to ruin my trip. Hang up on her. But I get back, I bark on her, I spaz, and I lock myself in a room.
Right.
Cops come and knock on the door. And that was it. They were like, Mr. Lil Castro, did you assault this woman? I'm like, she told them that I whatever she told them to get them to come on the phone. I was like, nah, I didn't touch her. I just called her a cunt. And they were like, did he touch you? She said, no, he just cursed at me, called me a cunt. They're like, this is not a crime, whatever. So, but the point of all that is, I realized what the fuck was happening. She was trying to get me locked up. She was trying to get me fucked up in the game. She knew what the fucking deal was, and that was the end. I packed all the shit I could fit into my car
Right.
and moved out of that fucking house and left her. And from the day I left there, my anxiety was gone, dude. Like, within that fucking little bit of time, I realized I didn't need to take these fucking pills anymore. It was all because of the circumstances I was going through in life. I hated where I was, and you have to change that shit.
Right.
It may seem like you can't change that shit, but you need to figure it out. You need to talk to people like that doctor that talked to me and shit when I didn't even know I needed to talk to him about it. Like,
Right.
You need to talk about it. You need to get in touch with what the fuck the problem is and fix it, because it ain't going to fix itself.
Right. it's like you have to be able to say, I need help.
You have to, yes, you have to be able to say you need help, but you have to be willing to help yourself. And that's, I mean, the reason why I told you the whole backstory and everything about it is because with all of that said, like it took, I had to see the fucked up shit, you know, just in general that led me to hating her, just, you know, her getting pregnant, her fucking keeping the death of the fucking girl I loved, her fucking talking about selling the wedding ring, the whole shit in the hospital. Like, it all had a mount until the point where I was ready to help myself, to the point where if I wouldn't have done that, I would have been dead, bro. Just you'll take enough drugs. They'll give you enough drugs to kill you, to numb every fucking problem that you have. If that's what you want, they'll just keep giving them to you. I know people to this day that are on just a prescription of anti-anxiety medication. Till when? When does it fucking stop? Like, when is it gonna stop being a crutch? Like, people say it's a disorder. Yes, but there's something at the bottom of it. Like, there's a problem that's underlying, and if you don't address that as an issue, you're gonna fucking kill yourself.
But I think that, you know, there's like a stigma to therapy. Like, a lot of people don't believe in going to talk to a therapist, and like, just sometimes just talking.
You that's the reason why I agree with the therapist thing is, and they sent me to the fucking therapist. I couldn't even sit in the fucking chair.
Right.
Because it was seeming very the best part about therapy for me was it made me say the things, and I had to hear myself say them. And I think that's part of what it is.
Right.
You have to talk it out. You have to hear what's happening.
But you can't think it. You have to say it and hear your voice say it.
I mean, and if you do stick with the therapy, it's you're kind of reinforcing it every time you have those conversations where you're hearing yourself over and over. You sort of come up with your own solution to these problems.
Right.
But my shit was so on the surface that when they sent me, when I say they, it's like the doctor. When I keep calling this doctor and telling him I need anti-anxiety medication, he's like, listen, I'm a regular physician. You need to go see a mental health person.
Right.
But I went to that shit, and I didn't like it because they start digging and asking all these questions and shit when I already realized why I was there, and it was like I couldn't handle it quick enough. Like, I needed to cut that fucking shit out of my life, and me just sitting here trying to work it out and make sense of it and make it work for the sake of being married to this fucking cunt. Like, that's what it seemed like.
Right.
It was dead. It was a dead issue.
Right. Absolutely. But when you actually said the things you needed to say, it helped you out.
Oh, definitely. Like, if it was in regards to some shit like, you know, like a loss or some shit that I had to mourn or some shit like that, absolutely. You need to do that shit. You need to talk about it. But when you know what is causing you this fucking problem, then you have to just jump.
You know, sometimes also we have this in relationships, like in your situation. You know, sometimes like you'll hold on to a toxic relationship just because you don't want to lose, like you don't want to feel like the loss of a relationship. Does that make sense to you?
Nah, it makes perfect sense, and thankfully there was nothing to lose for me in that relationship. Even at the face of $1,000 a month in child support, it was still worth leaving.
Right.
So, but yeah, I know what you mean in that sense, but yeah, this wasn't that. This is different.
You know, but basically the long and the short of it is, we all know someone out there that is probably holding on to a lot of things that they need to, you know, let go of. And there are a lot of signs and signals that we need to pay attention to. A lot of times I think that, you know, I was reading something and they said one of the telltale signs of depression are if you talk to someone and they try to make it seem like they're overly busy. Like when they tell you that, oh yeah, I'm just grinding and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and they said that I was very like surprised to read that is very like much a telltale sign of someone who's like really depressed.
Why are they like?
They're not busy.
Just saying that so they can sit around and feel sorry. Like,
absolutely,
so
like so they can. So because in their absence of being of secluding themselves. They have to say that they've been busy and grinding.
Yeah, to explain why they're not around.
Right, to explain their absence and what they're doing and everything else like that. There's a lot of signals and signs that we need to for our loved ones, even for ourselves, because a lot of times I think that the stigma on it is that men can't have moments of weakness. That's basically the gist of what this conversation is about. Because we both know people that have been going through these types of things.
Without a doubt, man. It's just you have to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's sometimes, and that's the one thing that was sort of, I know a lot of people that deal with a lot of shit, and some of them look into the tunnel and don't see the light. They just see dark.
Just darkness. Yeah.
And I was always, even till this day, I don't know where it came from, but I have this undying fucking hope that one day things will be exactly the way I want them to be in my head. And I couldn't even, if I could sit here, I'd lie to you if I was telling you I know how I want them to. I don't know how to fuck. I know, I have these grand visions of what I want to happen, but maybe that's just the hope itself. Like, you just want to see better and better for you and the people around you. And if you don't have that, that's the shit you need to work on getting, because why the fuck would you try to get to it if you didn't know what you wanted out of it? If you could just sit there complacent and be like, this sucks.
Right.
Everything sucks.
Right.
I hate everything. Everyone's terrible.
Right.
That ain't about shit. It ain't gonna work. So
yeah, and the thing about it is that a lot of these types of feelings will lead to you trying to harm yourself. First of all, overindulgence in anything is harming yourself.
Yeah, but that's the thing about it. Like, you could be doing that without even fucking doing it on purpose, whether you know it or not. Like, there's one thing between cutting yourself, cutting your wrist, hanging yourself, shooting yourself. That's all obvious shit. But when you're just doing too much and you're putting your body in through shit, like, and you're not really conscious of what you're doing, that's the quickest way to fucking kill yourself. Like,
exactly. Absolutely.
So you need to get control of that shit.
Yeah, and get some help. And it's basically from filling fats. We just want to put it out there to anybody that's watching or listening. It's not a crime, and you're not soft or anything else like that to ask for help. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. You can talk to me, buddy.
buddy.
Here's buddy.
But anyway, on a lighter note, switching the mood in the room, right?
Right.
The Kobe Bryant Award. How do you feel about that?
I mean, sounds good. I mean,
because they were going to give him something. We're scrambling to give him something, right?
Yeah.
Because we have to immortalize Kobe Bryant.
He was already immortalized, but
no, but we have to.
We
have to attach his name to something. Remember there was the petition to change the NBA silhouette to him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a petition.
See, you got your finger on all kinds of this shit. I have no idea what's happening in the fucking world. And
they wanted to change the logo to Kobe.
Like, what silhouette of him? What is he doing?
Of him dribbling the ball. Like the NBA logo is now. They wanted to change that to a silhouette of him.
How are we supposed to know it's him? Does he have big ears? Like, what? How do we know it's him?
My point to that is, I think that's a little drastic, and let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. Let's be honest. No one has a closet full of Kobe sneakers, but everyone. No, I'm not gonna say everyone, but there are people that have multiple pairs, still have multiple pairs, like yourself. Of Michael Jordan sneakers.
That's a whole other phenomenon, though. I don't even think if Kobe was alive, and I don't want to say what Kobe would say, but I don't think he would even want to have that changed to him.
Right.
I mean, there's a certain way, like, that something has been done forever.
Right.
Leave it alone.
Right.
You can honor him however you want, but
the All-Star MVP award, that is dope. I definitely appreciated that.
Definitely.
I like that.
I mean, why not? If it's adding light to the situation, then that's great.
That definitely, because he was a consummate all-star. And for that to be the standard that you want to attain in the All-Star game, then that's dope. I like
So
that.
that's like every year they're gonna give that out.
Yes, the person who is the All-Star MVP, that is now the Kobe Bryant Award.
That's what's up. So every year they're gonna talk about him, keep his name alive.
Dope.
That's what's up. We can't argue about that.
I like that.
But changing the little man on the logo, come on, doing too much.
Come on, Sean. Come on.
All right, man. We're at an hour right now. I know you want to talk about this XFL. You got some. What is that? The differences.
It's just differences in the rule changes. I believe that the NFL is going to steal a lot from this. The production value of the XFL is out of control.
I watched the game after we talked about it. I checked it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's not bad.
But listen, if you're looking for NFL style football, it's not happening. These guys are not good enough to be in the NFL. That's why they're not in the NFL. But they play good football. But the thing about it is the production value, the way they shoot the games, the access that you have to the coaches, the players. You can hear all the refs talking when they're deliberating. That's dope. They have 3 different levels of extra points. One from the 2-yard line, one from the 5-yard line, and one from the 10-yard line. The 10-yard line is worth 3 points. So you can run an offensive play. If you get it in from the 10-yard line, that's a 3-point extra point. So it's the 6 from the touchdown, then 3 points.
You're by 9 if you
yes.
Get
If you go in, if you do from the 5-yard line, that's 2 points. If you go from the 2-yard line, that's 1 point. So you have a chance for either a 7, 8, or 9-point touchdown, which is dope. I think the NFL is going to end up stealing that, to be honest.
Here we go with tradition again, though. Leave the little man on the logo alone, baby. Come on, man. Because this shit is, I don't want to say it's a flash in the pan, but let's see. If the longevity is there, maybe the NFL will adapt some of this shit.
I'm telling you, but the thing about it is it's just, you know what it is the innovations that they're trying to do, these things are going to be like, trendy, and the NFL is going to want to be trendy like them, especially if they start to have some kind of market share with TV ratings and everything.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, if they are a direct competitor with the NFL, so far the NFL shits on them based off of star power. If at some point players are like, you know what? They got the bag over there. I want to go play with the XFL. Fuck the NFL, and they were in direct competition with them. Then, maybe.
I have an idea, and I hope this reaches the XFL and NFL elite, the people that are in charge. I have an idea to call it the Swapper Bowl.
The Swapper Bowl.
Now, hear me out. The Swapper Bowl. You take the worst team in the NFL.
Okay.
You take the best team in the XFL. You have them play the Swapper Bowl. Whoever wins that game gets to play in the NFL that next season. So an XFL team can jump to the NFL.
I like that.
And an NFL team can get kicked out of the NFL.
Yeah, but this all goes into what I'm saying, though, is like, the NFL has the bag.
Right.
So if the XFL has these shining fucking stars, they don't need the whole fucking team. Let's face it, if there's a shining fucking star.
No, the whole franchise gets to go. They get to eat. Now, listen, let's just say you played your heart out in this league, right? And you never got to go to the NFL. You played your heart out. You are the elite, the best team in this league. You can now play for the chance to play in the NFL the following season. That is dope.
It's a dope concept, but I don't know.
The Swapper Bowl. I'm telling you, the Swapper Bowl.
I'm going to do that with shorties, too. Listen, if your wife... Nah, I'm just playing.
No, wait. That sounds... Wait. Listen, you're going to get your face smacked, but I want to hear you out.
No, I'm not... It's funny. My wife in the car today, she was like... She goes... I don't know, she's breaking my balls about something, and she was like, reading some woman, she's on all these stupid Facebook groups, and some woman, some fucking disgusting beast of a woman typed something about her poly relationship and how she has another man that she fucks and her husband has another chick that he fucks and all this shit. And she's asking me if, like, I would be okay with that. And I'm like, well, I just feel like you would just be getting pounded like a fucking pincushion, and I'd be home with a dry dick while you're out getting fucked watching the kids. Because it'd be a fucking lot easier for you to go out and get fucked than me. She's like, nah, I think you could get pussy. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I could, but I think you'll get way more dicks thrown at you than I'll have pussies.
Yeah.
So
the ratio to what they get offered as opposed to what we get offered is definitely off.
you just have to put that out there, like, hey guys, and they'd be like, what's up?
Exactly.
Me, it'd be like, you have a wife? No, she's cool with it. No.
So anyway,
Yeah.
here's my thing: the swappable. I'm gonna petition for that.
All right. Well,
I think that would be dope.
I'm gonna clip that part of the video out there, and I'm gonna tag the XFL in it again. They responded right away last time.
Yes. They should do that. The swappable. I'm telling you.
Swappable.
But anyway, that's our time, and
Yo, shout out everybody on the Facebook. I was looking for that post. Let me see if I can find it real quick. If we could give this a few seconds of fucking.
We're gonna give some shine. Who's getting the shine? Who's getting the light?
I don't want to shine. My man Jay Reyes. I had wrote something on Facebook about thanking the people that fuck with us and if they had any ideas, and he had a bunch of dope fucking ideas. Shout out to everyone. I said shout out to everyone who liked the page. Share some of your thoughts on the podcast right here, right?
Oh yeah,
Thoughts.
Jay Reyes sent mad ideas. He went in. Yo, shout out to Jay Reyes. I saw that.
That's my dude. He said, thoughts, your chemistry is awesome. Y'all play off each other very well.
Right.
Topics, politics, and music. We sort of hit the politics shit. Why certain genres push in one direction versus the other, and why we sort of did that. Separated at birth. Why hip hop and punk took divergent paths culturally. We can hit that on another day.
Right.
I ain't even sit here in front like I even really know too much about punk music, and I don't know if you do either.
I really don't know much about punk, but I will do my research on that, and we will talk about that because
it's a dope concept.
It's a dope concept.
Blurred lines. When is a rapper storytelling versus faking a killer/kingpin persona? Why we let our favorite rappers off the hook when it comes to faking the aforementioned funk. I like that one because as a rapper, like you heard the song I just did, the shit for the movie, right? I'm telling a story and I do it well, so it's believable. Right. Mm-hmm. But there's a ton of fucking, and I wasn't saying anything crazy far-fetched. I was going off the plot of this movie.
Right.
But like there's a ton of rappers that like it's like, homie, you're fucking 40 years old. You're not out there killing people. You're not out there selling drugs. But yet,
but Robert De Niro isn't either, and we believe everything. We still walk around enamored by his roles that he played in all of these mob movies and everything else like that. So at the end of the day, I feel that entertainment is just that. It's entertainment. If you're walking around believing that your favorite rapper is the biggest Magilla Gorilla Killer in the world, then you do that.
I think the point is where do you draw the line, or is there a line? Like, is there a point where we need to should we expect people to stop faking the so-called funk of being this character?
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, here's my point with that. Are there people that legitimately have street ties? Are there people that legitimately were in the street? Yes, absolutely. Definitely no doubt about that. But as we see, as far as i.e. the Bobby Shmurdas and the Tekashi 6ix9ines and all of that stuff, who really wants to be out there trying to prove, especially at this day and age, that you're the hardest of the hard hip-hop artists and going out there and messing up the bag, catching a case? That to me is just stupid.
It's a funny thing too, because like on the underground, there's cats that just get the super pass for being the hardest gun-toting, shooter-having, fucking just cocaine rapping.
Right.
Like, dogs, you're a fucking 42-year-old white guy. Like, it's like, I mean, it's just like it's such a different thing in the underground as it is to like mainstream hip hop. It's almost like you have to really be getting caught for these crimes, or people will like completely call you a fraud when you're on like the Hot 97 tip.
Yeah, but who is anyone to call someone a fraud? It's like this. First of all, there's too much access. That's number one. Number two, when I got into hip hop, I was just into the fact that these guys could, like, when did it just become like, oh my God, it's your image that I'm buying? Isn't it the actual art form, the wordplay, how well you flow on a beat? Whatever happened to all of that?
It definitely is. But at a certain point, for me at least, it's like, how many times could I listen to you make the same fucking song? That's one of my biggest things. Like, there was guys that I was huge fans of that I can't stomach anymore, because it's like, I heard you make this song for the last 4 fucking albums.
Right.
And I can't anymore. Like, where is the depth? Where is the fucking, the versatility as an artist?
Right.
But,
I mean, that also, that's kind of like degrees as well, because I'm not really trying to hear a MOP song that sounds like a Tribe Called Quest song.
Nah, not at all. But, and this all goes into what I'm saying as far as, like, more commercial type shit versus underground shit. I'll put up with a lot more. Like, when I listen to MOP, I want to hear MOP.
Right.
I don't want to hear some underground rapper do their best version of MOP.
Right.
I'm looking for something that has a little more substance to it. Like, like, MOP is from fucking Brownsville.
Right.
You're from Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and you live with your mom. Like, I don't want that from you.
So you cannot be on the track talking about booka boo, booka bow. And all that stuff, right?
See, that's the thing. I just can't. Like, when I know somebody is, like, full of shit, I can't fucking take them seriously anymore. It ruins it. It's like finding out there's no such thing as Santa Claus, bro. It's the only thing I could align this thing to.
Yeah, but that's my point. My point being is, it's art form. It's entertainment. You know what I mean? If you want to be out here faking jacks like you're the toughest guy ever and everything else like that, especially in this day and age of cameras everywhere, then you run the risk of one day you're going to be in a situation where we're going to have to see that gangster shit you're talking about.
Do that gangster shit you do.
No, I'm serious. You're going to have to be able to back all of that gangster talk up.
Never happened.
Now, at the end of the day, if you look at it from an objective standpoint, like, listen, I know that this person is basically out there trying to create an image so that they can make money. Are you just buying the skill of the rapper, or are you buying the actual image of the rapper? And if you're buying the image of the rapper, then, a lot of people should be getting their money back because they're buying into false images. You know what I'm saying?
All right, man. All right, Jay, we hit on a little bit of your topics. I'm gonna save more for next week.
Yes.
But let's say goodbye for now.
Right.
We'll see you later, because I can't afford to lose the whole podcast because the camera died. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what's up with camera number 1. Hopefully it fucked with us the whole time. I know camera number 2 is still going, so we got you no matter what. But thank you for rocking with us.
Right.
See you next week.
Right.
I don't know if I don't want to say same time, same place, because these are sort of staggering their way out into the world. But we'll be there.
But we'll be here.
Don't wait by the door. We'll knock when we get there.
Peace.
Peace out.